Well, hello, welcome to Blender Stuffs. We are in the part 3 of the tutorial series on how to make a fidget spinner in Blender. In this video, we will texture the fidget spinner model. So this will be the final textured model. We will use only PBR textures for texturing. Like this plastic material here, which have got some scratches. You can get all the textures from the project folder linked in the description section. They are downloaded from websites like Ambient CG and other websites. So let's start already. So this is where we left off in the last tutorial. Now let's move to the Shading tab. Let's start with the main body. Now before we move any further, make sure to enable Node Wrangler add-on. We are gonna use some of the shortcuts provided by it. Select the Principal BSDF and press Ctrl-Shift-T to import textures. Navigate to the project folder linked below. Go to Textures, go to the Plastic 0010 folder, and select all these images. Then click on Principled Texture Setup. This will import all the required textures and set it up accordingly. You can see that the texture is a bit stretchy. To fix this, use the object coordinate instead of UV, because we don't have UV set up. Now it's much better than before. But if we Ctrl-Shift left click on one of the texture map, you can see that it's still a bit stretched along this curvature. To fix this, further set the projection method to box for all this texture maps. Increase the blend value a bit to get rid of those seams. Let's increase the scale so that the scratches are much smaller. You can leave its color blue, but you can also change the color using a color ramp. Change the black value to any other color you want. Move the handle a bit to have more contrast. You can see that the scratches are completely white. Let's make them a bit reddish. To copy the material to the finger plates, select the finger plates, select the main body with the plastic material to be copied. Then press Ctrl L, select Material option or press M on your keyboard. You can see the texture is too small scaled and it's very hard to see the details of the texture. You can fix this by applying the scale. Also set the bevel amount to 0.1. Now let's get to the outer rings. But first let's UV unwrap it. Go to Edge Selection mode and select all the sharp edges. Also select this edge loop, and this one. And then press Ctrl E and select Mark Seam. Then select all, press U, then unwrap. But instead of doing that, let's select these parts and unwrap them first. The middle portion will have a different material so we can get to it later. Now to make those circular parts straight, we will use an add-on called UV Square. Its link will be in the description section. To install it, go to Add-ons, press on this Install button, then install the download zip file. Now click on to Grid by Shape. Now go to UV and select Pack Islands. Now also do the same for the middle ring. Make a new material for it. Let's name it Metal 1. We will add a different material for the middle portion, so add a new material slot pressing the plus icon. You can do the same from here. Now hover over this part and press L to select it. Then click on Assign to assign the new material. Let's name it Black Plastic. Let's temporarily set the base color to black to distinguish. We will add a texture to it later anyways. Let's first import the metal texture. Select the principal BSDF, then press Ctrl-Shift-T. Open the Metal 009 folder. And select the color, metalness. Select the normal GL and roughness map. Don't select the DX normals, Blender only reads the GL version. Load these maps. Now we want the brushing direction to go like this. To make it that way, we could either rotate the Z direction by 90 degrees. Or you can rotate the UVs by 90 degrees. I'll rotate it here. I want the color to be more brighter. Add a color ramp and make the black value a bit grayish. Also, let's make it more reflective using the color ramp. Let's delete the metalness map and increase the metallic value to 1 instead. It looks better this way. Also, let's decrease the normal strength to something like 0.4. Let's increase the scale of the texture so that the brushings look more finer. Let's import the plastic material now. Open the scuffed plastic folder and import all the textures. Let's hide everything else so that we only see the bearing. Unwrap it like we did for the outer weights. Also, let's unwrap the ball retainer. As for the cylinder, it is already unwrapped nicely by default. Also, we will leave the spheres as it is. We will use the same metal texture we used for the outer weights. For the metal retainer, we will create a new material naming it Metal 2. And import the Metal 006 texture. As for these stretchings, don't worry about it because metals really show this effect when they are sliced. Copy the same material for the bolts. And for the spheres, just create a new material naming it Metal 3. And set the metallic value to 1 and decrease the roughness. Let's scale the width of this ring so they are not perfectly leveled like that. Now if you try to move the mesh, it will be bit laggy. To fix this, apply all the modifiers except for the sub and bevel modifier. Now if you try to move or rotate it, it will be much smoother. We can now delete the extras collection. So that's it for the tutorial. You will get this blend file for free with the final render setup. Link for it will be in the description section. Thanks for watching.